man who gave us the real Spider-Man. I guess these live-action movies. A guy who's groundbreaking in so many ways. We give all the time after Q&A, so instead I would just introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, the genius behind Wizards, Mr. Ralph Bakshi. One of the things that I mentioned to you backstage, and seeing this movie as a kid was so groundbreaking, was having a female narrator. I mean, I don't think you had a sense of what a big deal that was, that nobody's really done that before.
Well, I knew what I was doing with a female narrator. I was in this particular case, I knew that it was different, and that's what I was looking for. Because Disney always used those male narrators. So I knew what I was doing, and it was a very different thing. I knew this actress, Susan Terrell, was brilliant. She had just done Fast City. And she came in and did it in one or two takes. She blew me out of the room. Susan was an extraordinary girl. She's gone now, but she's great. And she made the film along with the composer.
Who's here tonight, by the way?
Where is he? Andrew Bellin?
Yeah.
I don't think he can afford to come out there. Andy brings me to this box. It's called the synthesizer. I never seen one in my life. I don't know. It's a box. He'll do the whole movie on this box. I laughed my head off. But I like what he had to say about the movie, so I said, prove it. And he proved it all right.
What did he say to you about the movie?
Tell me how he felt about it. I mean, this is how you hire people, how they articulate what they think they're going to do, and I bought everything he said. He proved it. I've never had a score done so brilliantly, so fast. You also got me Mark Hamill, who's the voice of something, I think.
Yeah, talk about that. I mean, Mark Hamill, who basically had two movies that year between this and Star Wars.
Yeah, well, he blew it in Star Wars, but in my Star Wars.
It's very brave of you to admit that, Ralph.
Well, you gotta tell the truth. I like this guy. He's fine. Say something.
Well, you asked so nicely, how can I say no? This is a real departure for you, too, from the movies you've done, the features you've done to this point, were really urban, incredibly sort of hard edge. This is, like I was saying here, it's one of my favorites of yours. It's so soulful. I mean, it's really very deeply filmed. What moved you in this direction from the other films from Fritz the Cat and Coonskin and Hey You Look? This is a very different kind of movie.
Well, I don't see it that way. I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way, but I don't see it that way. I saw the ideas, all kinds of ideas of what movies are supposed to be about, and hopefully audiences will get behind them. I felt no different about this, than I did my other films. All I had to do was stop my cursing. And it's just in the movie thing that I felt very deeply. I felt very deeply all of my films. That doesn't mean some of the studios I worked with felt the same way. They chopped a lot of them up, and that's because they don't like chicken salami. The point is, I don't feel this film is any different. I mean, Fritz the Cat, The Simpsons have done stuff almost as bad, as worse than I did on television. So if you were taking the sex scene out of Fritz, it still was discussing, the white middle class reaction to the revolution, when they saw the revolution and run. When they went to the village just to have sex with girls. I mean, that's what the film was about. I was having a good time. So it's still all about ideas, but I don't feel that way.
This seems like it's much about feeling, more so in fact than the other films. About it's about decency as much, more so I think than the other films are.
Well, this film, the people weren't decent. You see, this is like showing Disney what he missed, you know, as far as in those days. Showing Disney that he could have made his fairy tales with a lot more feeling and a lot more ideas. The fact that the studio went to World War II in Auschwitz, and none of that was represented in any movies, so it kind of stuns me. I mean, you can't keep doing something like that all the time. Once in a while, if you're a powerhouse, do something that makes sense. Instead of Cars 2, you know. I still got it.
Stick around for 11:30, so it gets really dirty up here. But I think though this one thing is really so much about feelings, and it's also really epic, I think, in the way the other films were. I mean, you used to have to make a much bigger emotional scale in this movie than the other films have been. At least it feels that way to me.
Well, yeah. So it needs an epic feeling and had to have an epic quality. That's what I sort of. You know, I cheated as much as I cheated in any film. The budget was only $1.1 million. We had no pencil pads. We shot the entire film without pencil pads. But I had the greatest animators in the world. All the guys who had worked for Warner Brothers, Short Studios, and MGM and Disney all came to me. They were all out of jobs. And what they did was impossible. You know, Irving Spence and Manny Perez and Virgil Ross. You know, these guys did 30, 40 feet a week of animation, which was the budget. And we didn't have pencil there, you know, and they just went and shot it. I flipped it, I timed it with a stopwatch. This was before computers. I got yelled at on Crossing Brew the other day. A bunch of young kids put up a story was shot because this and that. They don't understand that there was nothing to fix. We had no money. The stuff came in terrible. I threw it out. There was nothing to redo. I could not redo it. So if it didn't work, it was horrible. I threw it out and tried to patch the story together with, you know, with magic and glue to kind of stay. So, but I would change that for anything in the world because it was those low-budget films that allowed me to say what I wanted to say. You know, because it was worth it. It was, how could you take chances of a $250 $1 million movie, 180 if Cali sold toys and dolls? You know, I'm a great believer of modest budgets. You know, I could do Wizards too. Fox was here for about $15 million. Fox, you want to say? Fox ain't here. Anyhow, I keep trying.
Do you ever pitch them Wizards too? Does that ever happen?
Yeah, just been recently Wizards too. You know, now they got people that, you know, now it's a whole different world. They have their own animation company, which does a very good job of doing Ice Age and everything. And they got studios now have executives that work for the studios that are in charge of animation, usually women. And no one wants to see me around, you know. No one wants to see me. I think Wizards too. I think Wizards franchise is the biggest Star Wars. I'm not Lord of the Rings. I think, you know, with a decent budget and with I'm selling them with a decent budget and with computer animation for the technology, I can nail it. But it's got an audience, and I can build a new one.
Give me a taste of, you know what, I'll let it. I'm going to pretend I was anybody else. What do you think you want to do with this, Stu? What would you want to do with it?
A film, a movie.
I'll give you a little more specific. It's storytelling terms, right?
You want me to give it away?
Just a taste, a little bit. Well, I swear you guys, this movie won't tell anybody.
No, it doesn't really matter. The thing is about feelings, and I think when I made this film, I had these specific feelings that fascism was on the rise, that the thing called terrorism was going to take us down. This was the 70s, you know.
That's all part of the opening narration, all those things you're talking about.
Yeah, and that technology was going to hurt the world, and today what you have is an amazing ugliness, you know, which I'm very concerned about. The planet is melting, the polar bears are dying. You have terrorists everywhere getting worse. Iran's trying to make an atom bomb. We spent 10 years in Iraq and Afghanistan, and what you have are these little groups and cells of people, and then you have this gigantic internet that everyone could use, including your terrorists, to get organized and everything. And that's my second picture with the internet, and I thought about this, that the collapse of fascism is always around the horizon, even if it's to fight any other group of people. You know, you always get these problems, you know, if your collapses because of the money crisis, you know that shit can come back in 5 minutes. You know, so, but in the second picture, the collapse of Blackwell's domain, all the bits and pieces on the ground start joining together. And all the ghouls and everything, that mutants they ran away with. Some guys would show up thinking they're as good as Blackwell and they'll become warlords and leaders. Meanwhile, Avatar and the rest of the guys are trying to get home and all hell's breaking loose. You know, so sort of in there, somewhere in there. And of course, we walk my phone up with that, with the elevator. I was thinking that was all I get pissed at that. So, but those are just the rough ideas, but basically, I have an outline which isn't that rough, but I don't want to get too much away. You know, so I don't want to get picked on when we call it Wizards 2. Wizards 2 with cars through. I thought driving Ford or something.
Whatever you use camera movie, But tell me about getting this, because this is the first animated feature Fox ever made. They weren't in the animation business.
No, nobody was, except me. Yeah. Me and Disney, that's it. Fox was never in the animation business. Yeah.
How'd you get Fox to go along with this?
We don't Chris made $100 million for $1 million. Heavy Traffic made about 70 or 80 for $1 million too. You know, these were pretty big hits in my first 2 films. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't hard to sell the movie. I was very hot. In fact, Fox called me. The guy who ran, wasn't down that Junior who took over. The guy called, he got fired. The guy that bought my movie, they all get fired. Frankie Blanc from Paramount who bought my movie, Kuski, also got fired. So I had the great luck and joy.
Wait. What? Kuski was at Paramount?
Of course it was at Paramount. Frankie Blanc's Junior bought it. And before you could release it, he gets fired, and this guy comes in from television. What's his name?
Was Michael Eisner?
No, not Barry Diller. Barry Diller comes and says, what is this movie? I never made this movie. He throws it out. You know, and the same thing happened with Wizard. You know, the guy who bought Wizard and loved Wizard, forget his name, he got fired because he bought Wizard. He also bought Star Wars, this guy. And they fired him. They thought he was incapable of having good movies. And Alan Jr. comes, and I got Alan Jr. at the end of my cutting $50,000 to finish the film with the union. Union had a raise. I was a union shop that had a raise. They wanted more money for their animators. It's going to cost me $50,000, which is nothing in the film. It's lunch, right? I got Alan Jr. and he says, no, you can't have it. What do you know? I said, we don't finish the film, we're going to sue you. So I went back and I figured out the roscoe stuff. Because that's how that came about. I'm good when my back up against the wall. Otherwise I'll look at, that's the kind of life I live with these guys, you know. But animation wasn't the darling of the industry, you see. Animation was the bottom of the industry. We were all idiots and fools. Today it's the darling of the industry.
You basically the lone guy doing it outside the studio system.
You mean Disney?
No, yeah, that's a factory, but you were the only real director of it making these films, doing features.
Well, thank you. It wasn't easy. I had a good time. I had a ball. I wrote and directed whatever I wanted. No one would tell I was doing, nor did they care. And when they saw the film, they vomited and cut it up and everything. It was a hell of a time.
How big an initial release did it get? Do you remember?
No release at all. We had a release. It did not open in New York and LA. That had no face in the picture. I opened a very small in the Midwest in certain theaters. And they had no face in Star Wars. They had no face in Star Wars. I'm telling you, they didn't know what Lucas was doing. So when Lucas opened up, they weren't prepared for the theater. And they took my theater to give it to Lucas, but that was live action animation stuff. So, you know, animation sucks, I suck, you know. They don't know I finished the film for 50 grand. This is just one guy. I love Fox. What Fox has done today on Wizard of the Blu-ray review is fantastic. They've given me a tremendous smile on my face. I'm happy. They put together a great Blu-ray edition, a great look. The publicity department's done, it's gone to the wall for this film. So when I talk about Fox, I'm not talking about Fox today. I'm talking about Alan Jr. You know, one man, you know, who just got his job and know what I was doing. I love his father too. I told him, I love your father. I saw Shane in the theater. They invited me, I don't want to go.
How did you get to make, how did you get to the Tolkien? How did you get to Lord of the Rings?
You don't want to hear that.
Yes, I do.
You won't believe it. Sorry. So I'm sitting in my office, I'm doing widgets, and I had read Lord of the Rings. It was back in the big underground book in New York in the 60s, the hard copy version, the hardback version, not the pocketbook version. And all of us was giving it to each other to read, and we were all stunned. You know, when the original book started, and we don't know, but we were stunned. There was an underground sensation being passed along. And I loved it, and I'm reading in the Variety, I'm sitting in my office, minding my own business, and I'm reading the Variety where it says this guy, John Borman, just did a script. He took the 3 books. At that point, the pocket books had come out. He had taken the 3 books and condensed it into 1 script and had added extra characters to make that work. And I'm sitting there in dismay and disbelief. So I make an appointment with Mike Meadowboy. It was different in those days. I didn't have an agent. I made an appointment with Mike. He called me. So I come in. I came in and told him I wanted to do Lord of the Rings and animation. And he can't do this. You can't take 1 picture and take 3 books in 1 picture. And the other boy said to me, thank God you're here, because basically we don't know what it's all about. We haven't read the book. And we'll give you the rights, but nothing to Lord of the Rings. If you get us our money back, that's what you're paying for me, it's $3 million. That's more than the budget on this, right? So I said, okay, it's a deal. He said, it's a deal. So MGM, true story. This is how I used to operate. MGM was in the same building. Well, United Artists was a lot with MGM, but MGM was at one place.
And Mike Meadow was running United Artists at the time.
No, Mike Meadow was running United Artists, and Daniel Melnick, who's an intellect, is running MGM. So I crossed the hallway, marble hallway, just to get to go to the secretary, and said, I want to see Dan Melnick. He didn't know me. She said, you can't just walk in here and see Dan Melnick. I said, just please tell me I have the rights to Lord of the Rings. She gets on the phone, she says, types in or something in those days, I don't know how they did it. The door swings open and Dan Melnick comes out. You got the rights to Lord of the Rings? I said, yeah, you can't look the wall. Meanwhile, the guy comes out, the meeting I broke up, if I didn't know, the guy comes out glaring, hated me, it's Pitanovich. He was pitching a picture to Danny, and I broke the whole meeting up. He never spoke to me again, right back and never made a picture again. And if you want to see a look at this, I don't know you were in there, what do I know, what do I care? But anyway, so we go back across the hall, Danny and I, we shook hands, he went to Mike Meadowboy, and he said to Meadowboy, he said, you really gave out the rights? He said, yeah. He said, okay, we'll make the picture. And she had, Mike said, did we back with $3 million? He said, yeah, we'll give you a cut of the picture. We shake hands, and I got a deal. This is the truth. Then, 2 weeks later, they fired Danny. And the schmuck, Richard Shepard, Dick Shepard, comes and takes over MGM and says, we're not making the picture. I said, what are you doing? I'm making the picture. It's Lord of the Rings, you bought it. We're not making the picture. And let me give us, we gave me $50,000 and closed the deal. Melvin did. So Shepard said, you have to give your money back. I said, I spent it on visitors. Which is what I used to do. I ain't got the money, because we'll sue you. You don't get your rights back. All right? This is a true story. So I go to Saul session, which is the biggest mistake I made in my life. I go to Saul session, and Saul was involved in heavy traffic and Fritz on the music end, you know. And I said, Saul, I got Lord of the Rings to do. I need $50,000 to pay these guys to get the rights back. Then we'll go sell the movie to somebody who knows what it is, you know. So of course Saul flies down that afternoon. He knows what the Lord of the Rings, he knows what it is, because he did find out what Peter Jackson was. And I made a deal with Saul. Saul wanted to pay MGM, Dick Shepard did a picture out of MGM, and now Zach got the rights to the picture. He went back to UA, I think, and restructured the deal. He would finance the film. And this is how the old days used to work. I mean, this is what Hollywood was all about in those days. You could do that for a career. Otherwise, it was a much smaller industry, believe it or not. And you could do that. You could go talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Or I could. it's 2. But 5 is only 50 grand to finish.